So most entrepreneurs don't burn out because they're lazy or unmotivated. They actually burn out because rest doesn't feel safe. Now, this doesn't really make a whole lot of logical sense. Why would rest feel unsafe? We know that we're required to sleep. We know we're required to rest, but our brains forget it. Our bodies forget it. So back when I used to run 911, I would see this all the time in people who were pushing too hard. You'd see it, of course, you'd see it in the executives, but you'd also see it in that mom that was the single mom who was working, 2, 3 jobs, trying to raise her kids on her own. And she would just burn herself out to the point that her body would actually rebel. You see a lot of autoimmune and heart disease and mental issues and just a lot of hard life. And the same thing happens with entrepreneurs. Pardon me. I see this all the time. People who feel that if they stop, if they don't keep going forward at all times, that in some way they're not doing enough. It doesn't matter whether you're successful or not successful. I've had people who are brand new starting and they're like, I don't have any clients yet, so I should be working 40 hours a week just trying to get my business going. And then I've had others that are quite successful, and for some reason, they're still working 60 hours. And I'm like, when was the last time you took a vacation? When was the last time you walked your dog? When was the last time you took a nap? And they're like, oh, I can't stop, because if I stop, that means I don't care enough. Or it means that I'm not going to continue to be successful. There's a difference between working to prove yourself and working from a place of confidence. Rest doesn't come naturally if your nervous system is wired for hustle. So we think that we have control of who we are and what we do. We think that we are the ones who make the decisions in our lives. But there was a study done, I don't even know when it was done. I heard about it recently that confirmed that about 85 to 90% of what you do every single day is not truly your choice. It's actually built on patterns and history. It's built on trauma. It's built on what you've done before and worked. It is subconscious, even when you think that you're making a choice. Pardon me, a good example of this is someone who's cheating on their diet. You think that you're making a conscious decision to go into that kitchen and get those Oreos. But the reality is that your brain will actually talk you into it. This is the same thing with not resting. You think you are deciding to push ahead, steam ahead. This is just a time that I have to be busy. I have to do this. If I don't do this, something will break. If I don't do this, I'll never succeed. But if you don't stop and fill your cup, even if you do succeed, you're going to break down. You cannot keep going at full throttle. Even race cars have to make a pit stop, right? Trains have to stop and get, well, they used to get coal, but don't anymore. But everybody has to stop. Time to repair, time to refuel, and time to refresh. You also don't need more time management. I see this with so many people. I can think of one lovely, lovely person that when she came to me, she was trying to build her business and had a fairly successful business, had expanded to add a few coaches with her. She was renovating her office, which was also her home. Meanwhile, she had two aging parents, a boyfriend who lived in a different state. And when we were talking about what her time goals were, she was like, I don't even have time to walk my dog. How do I have time to expand my business and make it really profitable? She didn't need time management. She needed permission to look at her life and decide where her time was most valuable. One session, we found time for her to walk her dog. 2 years later, as we were continuing to work together, not only did she walk the dog, but she actually managed to move her parents into the place of business. She moved up to the other state to be with her boyfriend. Her business, she decided, was not where she wanted it to be. And so she got rid of the extra people and dove even deeper into solo practice and started doing retreats and fun things that she'd always wanted to do, but she was afraid to do them because she felt like they weren't working hard enough. She wouldn't have to work hard enough to make money that way. While you're doing all of these things, it can be really hard, number one, to see what you don't see. You don't see the fact that you're pushing too hard because that's what's been bred into you. That's what's been taught into you. That's what the world has taught you to do. Your parents, you, life. So there is a magic about connecting with others when you're trying to figure out how to heal from this mindset, this body set of, I have to do it, I have to do it, I have to do it. When you come into communion with other women, with coaches, with other people, there is a magic. There is something built into us that says, you know what? If they're doing it, I can do it too. Now, I realize your mom used to say, if they jumped off a bridge, would you? But there's actually some science behind being around others when you're trying to reset. So when we are born, we don't have the ability to do what's called regulate our emotions. In other words, we don't know how we should react to things. And because we don't have any patterns or traumas or history, we have to build those things. And you see this in babies, especially when they're learning to walk. They'll be toddling along, and then they fall down on their butt. And the first thing they do is start looking around, who's watching, and what is their reaction? Because they're going to borrow the reaction of those that they love around them. If you are upset, they start screaming and crying. If you laugh, they laugh and get up and keep going. That is called external regulation. Now, as adults, we are able, usually, not always, but usually, to internally regulate our emotions. But sometimes along the way, we learn bad habits and we don't regulate them the way that we should. And we skip things and we miss things. So when we get into a setting where there's other people who are regulating their emotions and regulating their energy, we borrow from them. The amazing thing is that they also borrow from us. And so it becomes a chicken and the egg thing. And so there truly is science behind being around other people to heal and relax. I have been so focused lately on helping entrepreneurs build smarter businesses. And it's a hugely important thing. Imposter syndrome steals so much from us. It truly does. But there's also something about being able to reclaim their energy that is so powerful. And that's part of the reason that Melanie and I put together this retreat that we're doing in September. Now, I know not everybody that sees this is going to be able to do a retreat, right? So what are some things that you can actually do to start healing that I have to do it all? So the first thing you can do is be around somebody who sees that you don't have to do that. Like I said, there's power in community, there's power in connection. And being with somebody who sees it and whose peace you can borrow makes a huge difference. I do this for a lot of my clients twice a month, just getting with me, narrowing down what it is that's important to be working on. And then we go through and pick out the blocks as we need to. It works. Find a loved one that you trust that'll do that with you. Another thing you can do is schedule some downtime. I don't care if you don't have time for it. Okay? Recently, I have decided that I am going to do some stretching in the morning. I don't care whether I have time for it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it for 5 to 10 minutes. And then if I do it to 10 minutes and I feel like doing more, I will do more. So I have blocked that time. I don't allow client calls. I don't let my husband call me. And he likes to call me in the mornings. I put the dogs in the kitchen so they can't bother me. I'm getting close to putting the cats in the office so they can't bother me. They've only been a real pest once. I am valuing that time because taking that few minutes in the morning for me allows me to breathe, allows me to stop later in the day and ask myself, is this my brain saying I need to do it? Or is it something that actually has an urgent stamp on it? And that's part of getting rid of that hustle, is knowing whether it's in your brain and your body or if it's really truly needed, right? When you go to do something that feels like too much, your body is sending out a signal. It's saying, I'm tired. Stop. Let me breathe. Those days that you're sitting on the couch scrolling, feeling guilty, that is your body screaming for some rest and recovery. And you can do that, sit and scroll, but you're going to find that you're just as tired when you're done as before you started because of the guilt, because of the emotion, because of all of that stuff packed on top of it, right? I want to encourage you to connect. Now, if you're in the Texas area and you're available, I really would love you to come check out our retreat. At least go over and check out the page. We are going to have an amazing time. We are going to take the time to breathe. We're going to be doing some great trauma work to go and get rid of those things that are pushing us in the wrong direction so that we feel like we have to work to prove instead of working from where we're confident. We're going to take time with each other, commune with each other. We'll do some breath work. We'll do some, different neuro techniques to help calm the body, calm the mind, connect things, and heal so that you can come back and feel restful and safe and still get this shit done to be successful. So if you want to check that out, that's great. I would love it. Otherwise, plan 5 to 10 minutes for yourself. I don't care if you have to do it in the shower or on the toilet. Plan some little bit of time for yourself to breathe. It'll be worth it. I don't know how to stop this now. This is a new program. There we go. I'll see you all next